Hi YouTube, this is Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how I lost 74 pounds without sacrificing my skin. So it's January now, which means people are starting out on their New Year's resolution, and of course for a lot of them it involves weight loss. And I know the common concern with weight loss, especially rapid weight loss, is that skin, including facial skin, can sag and droop, and for many that's a real fear. While I'm not a doctor or a dietitian or a cosmetologist, I'm none of those things, I do have personal experience to share with you guys because I used to weigh quite a bit more than I do now, and I lost the weight and I don't think it's ever coming back. And I've kept it off for years now, so I just want to talk about some of the tips and tricks that I've discovered along the way. The purpose of this video is not to tell you how to lose weight. If you do have questions about that, you can definitely leave me a comment, but I am not a dietitian, like I said, and perhaps you might start with your doctor if you have really severe concerns. But I just have personal experience to share when it comes to skin specifically. So a little backstory, back in 2011, I weighed 74 pounds more than I do now. I wore 12 size pants bigger than I do now, and I was just very miserable, and I've lost the weight that I've lost more than once. I lost quite a bit of it from 2012 about until 2014, and then I got pregnant and the stressors of that caught up with me. I took it as a license to eat whatever I wanted, and I gained a lot of it back, and then I gained more after I had my first child. My first tip when it comes to weight loss in general and to skin specifically is to go slow. Going too quickly can definitely cause problems. Usually diets or meal plans that involve very rapid weight loss are very restrictive and non-sustainable, and it also stresses out the body and the skin. While skin is elastic, and usually the younger we are, the more elastic it is and the better it can bounce back, it might not have such an easy time if you are losing the weight too quickly. And another thing I notice is people who lose the weight very rapidly are more likely, at least in my experience, to quote unquote relapse and gain the weight back, and sometimes the weight plus some. And all of that shrinking and stretching and shrinking and stretching really stresses the skin out, and I think you are more likely to have sagging if you do that versus if you lose sustainably. Even if it's slower, in the long term, it's still going to be a better result than yo-yoing and losing rapidly and then gaining it all back. It can be easy to get hung up on measures such as pounds on a scale when it comes to measuring your progress. And for a while, the pounds might be a good indicator. However, you usually don't know if you're losing water or fat or lean muscle mass. But eventually I found, especially when I started working out, that the weight measurement just became more and more frustrating. And so I would encourage you to use alternative measurements of success. Either see how your clothes fit and feel, or use a tape measure to measure inches, or get a little cheapy body fat percentage monitor. I got one on Amazon. I'm not sure how accurate those are, but I think it's good sometimes to get away from measurements such as weight, because weight really is just one number, and again, it doesn't really tell you if you're losing lean muscle mass, which you don't want to do, or fat or water. Tip number 2 is to not eliminate any food groups. Of course, junk food is not a food group, so you can definitely eliminate things like processed, what I would call crap, candy, chips, things that are fried in oil, those kinds of things definitely. But be wary of meal plans that tell you that all carbs are bad, or all fats are bad, or all proteins are bad. Our body, our skin does need those complete nutrients, a good balance of the carbohydrates and fats and proteins. And I know that it seems that in the diet world, each group of those gets vilified in turn depending on the fashion. Currently, the keto is all the rage, so all carbs are suddenly bad. Back maybe 20-30 years ago, all fats used to be bad. And I would just urge you to eat the most natural, unprocessed food that you can in a good balance for your body. And because what I notice is like cutting out fat, for example. If I cut out too much fat, including healthy fats like avocados, my skin starts to get really dry. And on dry skin, in my experience, wrinkles are more noticeable and sagging is more noticeable. So some kind of good fat is very important. And then people who cut out all carbs, kind of non-distinguishing between carbs in a pizza and carbs in an apple. They're depriving themselves of very important vitamins and antioxidants that come in fruit and vegetables. So again, not being a dietitian, I would just urge you to be cautious about any meal plans that vilify a specific food group without differentiating between natural unprocessed foods like fruit and processed things like candy. The next tip is to move. For me, that involves working out almost every day for at least half an hour. And I just do it in my living room between the TV and the couch. I use little videos. I have a subscription service. I'm not selling anything. I'm not even going to name what it is. There are lots of things out there. There are free YouTube videos, or you can go for a walk or for a jog or join a gym. It really depends on the amount of money and free time and motivation that you have. While it is absolutely possible to lose weight without exercising, I find that good muscle tone really helps with the skin sagging situation, because I like to think of skin as kind of like a layer of clothing. So clothes only fit as well as the frame underneath them, and the muscle and the bone, of course, is what makes up that frame for our skin. So the more toned the muscle is, the more tight, the more in shape, the better everything else looks on it. And also, just the act of working out, even just taking a walk outside in the fresh air, improves circulation, which is a great thing for skin health, of course. No, it will not prevent all the sagging. I mean, I have sagging. I have 2 kids, and there are areas of my body that they will probably never be the same, and that's okay too. But we can do just the best we can without obsessing. You know, perfection is unattainable, but progress is absolutely possible. The next tip has to do with circulation yet again, and it is to use a facial massage. Of course, you can use massage for anything else, but I think the most pressing concern for most people that I've talked to when it comes to the whole weight loss and sagging is they don't want their face to sag. And while the rest of the body massage is quite well known and popular, facial massage, I feel like, is still one of those kind of topics that have not been explored very well in the United States, at least. So I use things like this. This is a little facial massager. This one's by Secret Key, and it's just 2 balls here and a handle. Funny story about this. When this got delivered to me, I think it was a couple of years ago, my dad was visiting, and I opened the package and I take it out, and his face was fantastic. Just I rarely see him blush, and I said, "Dad, it's a facial massager." I don't know if he believed me, but okay. So this thing is very easy to use. Pretty much on a clean face, you want to put your toner and your essence and some kind of facial oil, something that will make this slide and glide easily. You don't want to tug and you don't want to pull. And this particular massager comes with a little card on how to use it, as far as like which lines to follow. But basically you would start from the bottom and gently roll it upward, and it feels really good, and it's nice and cooling. And if you can use it morning or night, or morning and night if you wish. And the nice thing about this is in the morning, these parts feel kind of cool. They're metallic. I don't know if this is actually metal. I think it is. But they feel nice and cool against the skin, and they can actually help depuff. And the motion of rolling helps all of the lymph move in there, and so it's kind of a nice depuffer for mornings as well. It helps your skincare absorb better. It can be used on the side of the neck, and that feels really heavenly actually, especially at the end of the workday. If you have a lot of tension, like I have a desk job, and so on busy days I think I sit this way even though I try not to, and there's a lot of tension. So you don't have to have special tools. There's also gua sha massage that you can look up, and it uses basically flat pieces of stone or jade. That's another thing. Or you can just use your fingers. Again, get some kind of slippery product on, like a good facial oil, and just massage, and it improves circulation of blood flow to the skin. It can help your skin look better as far as coloring and more youthful, and I do think it prevents some of the sagging, maybe not all of it perfectly, but it does a pretty good job. Well, the next tip is probably what most of us are here for, and that is specific products you can use to help with the sagging. I do have to say though, while these things do tend to work, or at least in my experience they work, it is a drop in the bucket compared to like tip number 1, for example, which is losing the weight slowly and sustainably, or tip number 2, which is eating healthy foods from all the food groups, and you know, the next one of actually moving your body. I feel like those things are the most important. The skincare part is a nice additive, it's a nice to have kind of thing, but I think if you completely ignore all the other parts and only do the skincare, you're probably not going to have great results. It wouldn't be my channel if I didn't mention SPF. Any kind of skincare, anything that you are trying to do, if you're fighting pigmentation or wrinkles or sagging or anything, it is not going to be effective if you are not protecting yourself from the sun. I will not go on and on about this the way I usually do. I will just mention that you want SPF every day, and that UVA and UVB rays can really age us, reduce collagen production, and which causes sagging. So I'll just mention the thing I'm using right now, and it is this Logically Skin Hydro Multi Shield. This came in a Sophie's box to me, which was a PR box. I'm using it because why not? I've tried it and I really like it, and it is a very lightweight product. So it's looks like a cream, but when applied, there's no sticky residue, there's no white cast, and I've been using this for, I think it's been a couple weeks. I've been just using it every day. It's not a very big tube, which is probably my only gripe with it, but I think that it does a good job, and there are lots of other sunscreen options. I review sunscreens on my blog quite a bit because I use one every day, so I do tend to run through them and try all these different things. So you can check out KBeautyHobbit.com for more sunscreen reviews, but whatever sunscreen you choose, whatever your preference, just make sure that you're using one. I always have a few options of some sort of patch, and I use hydrogel patches. They're different brands. I've shown this one before. This is the Petitfee Agave cooling one. Then I have this one, EVERYDAZE jar over here. I have another jar in the fridge. So most hydrogel patches are designed in the same way. They all have different things mixed in, but the overall premise is the same. It's usually a patch like this, and it is made out of the hydrogel material, which is this jelly thing, and it is then soaked in some kind of ampule or serum. And when applied to the skin warms it up, and the serum starts to get absorbed, and the hydrogel material itself kind of melts into the skin and deposits all the beneficial stuff that's in this patch. So I put them under the eyes, which is the most typical application, but I also put them in the areas that are prone to aging. So the nasolabial folds here, and then the forehead. And I have a couple fine lines on the forehead. And as I've lost weight, the little layer of fat in my face has also diminished quite a bit. And probably the biggest difference I see is around my eyes. My eyes actually look bigger now. Even comparing pictures of just no makeup at all, I'm wearing some today, but in pictures with no makeup from like 5 years ago or 10 years ago versus pictures with no makeup now, my eyes look quite a bit bigger. And I think that's just because all that extra fatty padding has kind of burned off as I lost weight. Well, unfortunately, as that little fatty padding goes away, it stops stretching the skin, and so the little wrinkles are more noticeable. So I've been using these. I'm almost out of these, and then I've been trying those EVERYDAZE one, wherever this jar went out. These are nice too. I've only used these a couple times, so I can't really speak of like their long-term effect yet, but so far they look nice. And I typically use patches in the evenings just because I have more time. But if you have time in the morning, these are another good option for deep puffing, especially around the eyes, especially if you store them in the fridge. And I do tend to store mine in the fridge. While I use those hydrogel patches that are mostly marketed for the eyes all over my face wherever I feel like using them, there's some specialized ones as well. Like for example, this one by Etude House is made specifically for the laugh lines or for those nasolabial folds. And they are made with what's called a spicule, which are like tiny needles. It's very interesting. They don't hurt, but you put them on and these little spicule things, you can see them right there. The idea is that they kind of penetrate the skin and then pull the wrinkle out toward the patch and kind of straighten it all out or smooth it all out. It's an interesting concept, and I'm not sure how these would work on somebody with like really severe deep creases. I don't have those thankfully yet, but on me they do tend to work pretty well, and I really like them, and they stay on there. Like once you apply them, they do not move. So if you are into stuff like that, you can definitely try these, and I'll put links in the description box for everything I'm talking about. Some of the stuff I have reviews on my blog for, and I'll put links for that. Some of them I don't yet, but it's just all the things that I like. But you don't have to use these specific products. There are tons of different patches and lots of different things, so I'm just giving you some ideas of the type of product to try, but the specific things that work for your skin or the specific things that you like, you can definitely find by experimenting with various products. Then there are, of course, sheet masks, and not all sheet masks are created equal. On the daily basis or the nightly basis, I tend to use more budget-friendly masks that are just a thin, like cloth feeling sheet soaked in some sort of serum. I do a lot of reviews for those on my Instagram at KBeautyHobbit. But as far as sagging and lifting and the what I would consider like heavier artillery goes, Dr. Jart is probably my favorite. This specifically, this Dr. Jart firming solution. The entire mask is made out of hydrogel. So just like those patches for the eyes, except here it's like a patch for your whole entire face. And these do run more as far as the price than like the regular sheet masks. But sometimes you can find them on sale, and sometimes, very rarely, but I have seen this brand at like a local TJ Maxx or a local Marshalls, and if I do see them, I snatch it right up. But these are definitely worth it to me. And I feel like after application, and this specific mask can be left on for up to 40 minutes. And I usually try to leave it on for that entire time, especially since these run at a bit of a premium price. I want to make sure that I get everything I can out of it. But it plumps up the skin really nicely. And I swear, like the look of these little two fine lines that I have greatly diminishes after use. And with any kind of mask or any kind of skincare routine, you have to keep up with it. You can't just do it one time and expect results. But I do see cumulative results with kind of sustained use. And the more, in general, just the more hydrated your skin is, the more youthful and the more plumped up it will look. So all the things, that little wrinkles and the sagging, will be way less noticeable if your skin is properly hydrated. And if you really want to get into technical products, you can even pick up things like this. This is an anti-aging neck mask. So there are products like this out there if you're worried about your neck. For my neck, what I usually do is any kind of sheet masks, unless it's an exfoliating mask. So any hydrating, moisturizing, just general kind of like skincare mask, After I've used it on the face, I fold it into and apply it right here on the throat because there's usually plenty of serum left. You don't want to keep it for longer than just that one day. So use it on the face and then immediately on the neck. You don't want to like put it in a Ziploc bag and refrigerate it. That's not hygienic. Do not do that. But immediately after using it on your face, it's okay to double it over, put it there, just offer extra hydration. And then I just make sure to get really nice nourishing moisturizing creams. And if my face cream isn't heavy duty enough for that, then sometimes I'll use eye cream on my neck. And there's specific neck creams you can get, but I typically just use eye cream because eye creams come in such large packages for the amount that you need on your eyes that I feel like it's plenty for the neck as well. An off-label benefit of skincare that is not going to be advertised on any package, but it's definitely true for me, is doing an elaborate skincare routine in the evening. So double cleansing, toner, essence, or sometimes a peeling as part of the cleansing, and toner, essence, sheet mask, cream, maybe a facial massage. Doing all of that stuff in the evening distracts me from late night snacking. And that used to be a huge thing for me, especially when my first was born, because finally in the evening, the baby was usually asleep, at least for the time being. And it was the one time my husband was home, and finally I could actually sit down and eat with both of my hands free without holding a baby. And I would not just take advantage of that, I would just abuse that. I would stuff my face every night, and it became a habit. And those kinds of habits, when they're formed, are very hard to break. So doing things like blogging in the evening or filming a video like I'm doing right now. Both kids are in bed right now and I'm filming YouTube. Or doing the skincare routine, it gives me another focus. I don't really have to distract myself anymore. I've been at a healthy weight for quite a while now, and even through my second pregnancy, I've really kept the weight gain to a healthy level, and all the weight, the baby related weight, came off in a couple weeks postpartum. And I know that's not necessarily typical, and that's not necessarily a personal achievement. It could just be what my metabolism was doing that time. It did not happen the first time. The first time was way different. The second time was much easier. But either way, it was a nice benefit during the time that I needed to distract myself. Anymore, I just don't eat past 7 usually, and it works fine for me. So just another tip there. I want to mention a couple things. During this time of the year, when people are rushing to the gym, when everybody's talking about losing the holiday weight and all the things that come with that, I just want to remind everybody that your worth as a human being, your worth as an individual, does not come from your size. It doesn't come from how many wrinkles you have or don't have, or how your skin sags or doesn't sag. You are worth something to this world. You are important. You are good enough at whatever weight you are, even if you're covered in wrinkles, even if your skin sags to the floor. It doesn't matter. You're an individual. You're important. And it's very important to love yourself at whatever shape or size you're in. It is absolutely okay and absolutely fine to strive for something else, to want to improve, to want to be better, to want to be healthier, faster, stronger, whatever, thinner, even if that's your goal specifically. But it is also okay to love yourself where you are right now. You can both love and appreciate yourself exactly the way you are right now and want to be different. You don't have to strive for that difference from a place of self-hatred. And in fact, I personally tend to lose the most weight and do the best when it comes to workouts and athletic performance when I'm not so focused on it. I don't know if you've heard the saying that that which we resist persists, but that has been my experience. The more I obsess and focus on something negative, the harder it is to get rid of it. And when I'm not even thinking about it, when we're doing other things, like when we're doing an active vacation, for example, and just doing lots of walks and hiking and enjoying the food, but in moderation, the pounds just come off by themselves. But if I start obsessing, they usually pile on. And I think a lot has to do with stress and just overall kind of mental state of being. But just want to let you know that it's okay to be who you are. Hopefully you already know that. Hopefully you already love yourself. And all the skincare, healthy eating, exercising, that's all great. But even if you don't do any of that, you're still worthy and you're still important. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Visit my blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, and join my Facebook group. It's called Korean Beauty Fanatics, and we share reviews there, answer questions. We don't allow advertisements or anything commercial like that, so it's just a safe space to talk to other people who love skincare. If you have weight-related problems or questions, or if you want me to film another video going more in depth about that, let me know. I'm happy to do that. Overall, like I mentioned, I lost 74 pounds over the course of about 4 years. I've kept it off. In the most recent 12 months, I've lost 30 pounds of that. But 30 pounds ago, I thought I had nothing else to lose, and I just started working out because I wanted more muscle tone. And it just so happens that the weight started coming off with that, maybe from working out, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it was still from eating. I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I am so happy that you take the time to watch my videos, and hopefully you leave me a comment and a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I will see you next Saturday, and until then, please remember to always listen to your skin. Thank you very much.